This is attempt 4 because I'm an idiot. Um, God, I'm angry now. And this is how I start all of them, but I'm pretty angry right now. But let's just start over because, I fucked up. Okay. So, let's just really start over. Okay. So, we're making a Reece noise again. It's based on the it's based on the chugging sound from this track Dustup. Great track. Actually, it's not based on that noise, but it sounds really similar to it. So I was like, let's just make a tutorial on it. I was making this Reece for another track I was working on, and I was like, shit, that sounds really similar to that Noisia sound. So I'll make a tutorial on it. So let's hear the noise, shall we? What a fantastic tune. They're great. So here's what my sound sounds like. And if we turn on my my limiting patch, and there's again. So, like I said, they're not the same, but they are the same at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So let's learn some shit. Because this is my 4th time doing this now, and I've said this the other fucking 3 times. What do you call it? Yes. This patch that I'm making uses Etch Red, which is a rack extension. So if you don't have Reason 6.5 and you don't have Etch Red, then you can't do this. But that's not true. I'm lying. You can do this because Etch Red is just a filter plugin, and as I will explain, these are just notch filters, and Thor is perfectly equipped with notch filters. So so please do yourself a favor and don't stop watching because you don't have Etch Red. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is load in a Thor. Make sure it's initialized. Put the range to 24, to mono, polyphony to 1, release polyphony to 1. No portamento, turn filter 1 off. Turn your amp envelope, decay and sustain all the way up. Turn off your global envelope. Turn off your filter envelope. Turn off oscillator 1 for now because right now I'm just going to explain what we're doing here. So we're making a Reece noise. It's more of a fatty sawtune, a fatty saw wave detune kind of deal going on, much more classic than the more Spore Feed Me-esque one that I made last time. So we want 3 multi-oscillators, which basically do some super saw detuning for us. So put number 1 up to 31, put the other one up to 30. Spread oscillators 1 and 2 by about negative and positive 4 cents on the tuning knob. And on your third one, switch the waveform to this soft saw wave, it's like low pass almost. Put the mode to interval with no detuning. And then on your second oscillator, switch the random to random 2 to get some more variation. So now that we have all that in there, the next thing we want to do is set up the stereo panning. So oscillator 1 goes through filter 1, oscillator 2 goes through filter 2, oscillator 3 goes through both of them. Turn your gain all the way down so that our arrows don't send anything to filter 3. And then in the mod matrix, filter 1 and filter 2 into filter 3's left in, filter 3's right in. And then we're scaling them by the amp envelope. In another one of my tutorials, I think the Far Too Loud tutorial, I tell you some wrong shit about what I was doing here. this scale is being scaled by this into that. So just know that. That was a bad explanation, but you get it. So right now we have this sound, and let's look at it through Ableton Live's wonderful spectrum analyzer. I was wrong. That is not what we have so far. Sorry. This is what we have so far. We have a lot of harmonics and partials and great stuff in this upper end of the frequency spectrum that we're all going to play with some filters. But before we do that, we want our mod envelope to be affecting the pitches of all our oscillators. Oscillator 1, 2, and 3 pitch by 100% scaled by rotary 1. And we'll name this mod envelope pitch pit. Mod envelope pit. And we'll put that value up to 50. So what this does is it gives us almost like a kick drum quality to our bass. See how the pitch is falling down now? So to make it more kick drummy and punchy, we just bring the decay down to about 122. And to make fine adjustments, you just hold the shift key while you drag. So now we get this. And when we throw the limiter on there and all the other shit, it's going to sound real fat. So another thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the voice key gate right here and output it to CV1. Because we are about to make a spider CV merger splitter and take our CV1 output and throw it in there. If it works this time, output. Throw it in there. And now we're going to load up our Edge Red. Woo! What a fine looking device it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw our CV into our LFO1 and LFO2 retriggers. So that basically is taking the function of like a key. If we hit this key sync, that's what's going on down here now. So why are we using Edge Red, you might ask? And I will answer that question for you by pulling up this handy dandy Edge Red manual. Edge Red is a filter plugin that comes with all these awesome filter types. Look at all that shit. And today we're using these two crazy looking notch filters to give us some sweet ass sweeps. So let's just get in there. So if you've made it this far along in the patch, all you have to do to get the same effect is create two notch filters, one after another. It's that straightforward. So let's get in here, you know. So we're on the Japan filter type because that is the crazy notch filters. We want the first one to be 8 minus and the second one to be 8 plus. So 2n plus 2n plus 8, 2n plus 2n minus 8. Make sure both are turned on. Turn off the tempo sync buttons down here if you have Edge Red, but I'm sure nobody does, so this is like a big waste of time. Bring it down to 1.54 and bring it down to 1.54. Right? No, LFO2 is on 0.84. A little bit of different variation. Okay. Now, take make sure that up here the frequency modulation of filter 1 is being modulated by LFO2. And that's just going to mean that LFO2 is moving this knob around now after we turn this knob up about halfway. And LFO1 is going to be moving this knob around from over here after we turn this up about 3/4, like over there. So now, bring filter 1 frequency down to 22. Filter 2's to 2600. Okay. Now, in the modulation source selection, we're choosing LFO1, clicking it right here, and we're going to move this knob up to 62%. And this knob down to -28%. Okay? Now, so what's going on there, if I should explain, is that whatever we select in this red thing, that's what these red knobs are for. So if I click LFO2, you see how they reset like that? So right now LFO1 is controlling the position of this knob and the rate of LFO2. So over here LFO2 is now going to be modulating filter 2 by -50, and then LFO1's rate by 34%. So now, like, I couldn't even tell you what's happening here. You can turn all these off. So now we have this. We can see all the notches in here. Whoa! And the key sync allows it so that they start in the same place every time. And we get that nice double notch right around the 400-500 mid-range, which is exactly what we want. So, next thing we need is to create a low-pass filter using Thor. So we're going to take the output of the X red and put it into here. And then I will load up my handy-dandy Thor filter patch, which just takes the audio 1 and audio 2 inputs and puts them into filter 3 and filter 3's left and right inputs. And then we gotta load in our low-pass filter, which looks just like that. And now we want voice key gate to affect global envelope gate. Turn up your decay to about 10. And then also take your LFO2 to affect filter 3's frequency and scale it by the modifier of rotary 1, 100%. So now the key gating happening here, basically whatever this envelope knob is at, if I bring this down, it's going to take 10 seconds for it to get from this position, from 21.6 kilohertz down to 200 hertz. So we can watch that happen here. Whoops. Take your output, move it into here. Alright, so we can watch the frequency happen here. We're losing the highs. There they go, they're gone. Right before your eyes. And then, because of our little LFO2 thing down here, rotary 1 moving up. Look at that. So now you have all your filtering tricks going down. And now all that's really left is distortion and effects. So slap on 2 screams, one after another. Make sure they're all routed in sequence. And the first one's going to be tube, with both parameters all the way up and a damage control of 70. And the next one's going to be tape, with parameter 1 all the way up and parameter 2 at about 45. So now we added the beef back into our missing frequencies. Everyone with me? I'm just looking at this and something sounds off. But I think I'm just crazy or something, you know? So let's just keep running with it. Yep. Okay. The next thing we're gonna do is add some reverb. Where's that at? And this reverb I have on bypass. But if we bring the dry wet knob to about 40, it's a really short reverb, no decay, with the algorithm setting of room. We get this kind of effect, which adds some nice space to the sound. So you can add that to taste if you want. And now for our stereo imaging, we take the mono down for anything below 300. And it's pretty wide right now. So we wanna bring that down, for at least I do. Let's bring it down to like 15 here. But you can do that all to taste. So whatever you're feeling, that's up to you. So let's see here. So all that's really left after we have this going, which now looks like this, is some extra effects if you want them. You see I have an echo down here and another reverb, but this is basically your sound. And the final thing to do is just load in the nastier bass patch. I turn off all the frequency parameters and this maximizer right here. See how our peaks are moving around a lot? That means we have some dynamic range. And we don't want that dynamic range. So we're just going to limit the shit out of it. Boom! And now it's just a wall. And that's going to make it much easier to throw in a mix. So that's pretty much your patch. I left out the echo and this reverb to save some time, but basically, if we switch back over here, I just split the signal and had a dry signal, a full wet reverb signal, and then a reverb signal for this. So I can trigger the echo, and I can bring up this reverb for like a monster effect. Stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. Let's see if they sound the same in case I fucked up. The one on the right is just a little louder because the limiting's not on, so now let's see. Yeah, they're pretty similar, so I hope that was useful. I know I lost steam halfway through. I'm just so tired. This is the 4th time I did this. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But just to review, it's just notching and distortion. To be honest, it's that simple, you know. Wrong one. So I'm an idiot. So, I hope you enjoyed as I close out for the third time now. Where's this stop button?